we move on to the main item for today's meeting, and that is for Club Assembly. So I'm now going to pass the floor over to Peter and Wynne.
Thank you very much. Let me just explain what we're going to do. I want to talk a little bit about next year and about some of the things I want our Rotary Club to do. Then I'm going to turn to three of us, and because of a late apology from Mike Inman, I'm going to have to speak on behalf of the International Committee. Darren's going to speak for Youth and Community, and Wynne is going to talk about the Club Service Committee. And we're very lucky in that as a club, we're in a position now to re-establish the committees, and eventually I hope there'll be 4 committees. Darren and Graham have done a great job at holding the club together. Darren this year doing Secretary and President, last year Graham doing President and Treasurer, and leaving the club in very good funds. But now we move into a different sort of Rotary club, and I consider myself very lucky to be in a club on the point of some considerable change and development, because in 4 weeks' time, 4 weeks tonight, July the 1st, we plan to meet at Borrington Golf Club for a first in-person meeting, and not just with all our members, but members and partners and other people we hope who come along who are interested in seeing what the club's about. And I'll say a little bit more then about the 2 causes, Rotary causes, that we'll be supporting. One of them is the environment, and I'll have some practical ideas for us as a club to do with the environment. And actually you'll hear that when the committees come to mention their priorities. And the other Rotary cause is the one that's been chosen this year. The other is the first on Rotary's list, is peace. And I want us to understand more about peace, but also to promote as far as possible and to learn as far as possible the benefits of a country like ours, with advantages of vaccines, advantages of history, and helping. I wrote a letter this afternoon to Gary Streeter, and I said, Gary, foreign aid, please may you be one of the rebels. He used to be the shadow secretary for Department of International Development, and that seems to me connected with peace. So if at all possible, I want us to be seen not as a club that meets at the golf club, a club that has dinner together. I want us to be a club that does. I remember noticing in Nepal that government officers were what they call the civil servants. In this country, they're called civil servants, because they serve. In Nepal, they hold office, and service is underneath everything about Rotary and above and through everything about Rotary. And I think when you listen to the ideals that people are putting into the objectives in a few minutes, I think you'll see ways in which Rotary embodies service. But I also think that this time next year, I mean, already it's evident, but this time next year, when we look back at the club, first of all, many of you new members and we who are longer serving members of the club, we look around and we think, oh, I didn't know that person last year. That's a friend. Rotary builds friendship because of what they do together. But the other thing that I'd like us to be able to see when we look around the members is that we're a diverse group. Already we've changed the diversity of our members in terms of age, and we have a very good diverse record now in terms of gender membership. But I do hope that we have a diverse background of our memberships and the professions, the businesses that people are in, the things they do and the ideas they bring to the club. And what we're going to do in this meeting, after you've heard from the committees, we're going to go into a lengthened breakout, but because I'm a retired teacher, you're going to get homework for the breakout. And when you come back, you have to bring your homework back, and the rest of us are going to mark it. So what I'd like to do now would be to turn to Wynne to talk about club service and what they'll be doing in the course of the next year. Two things about these priorities. First of all, it's not a closed book. What you're hearing about is the June 2021 priorities. Others may emerge, others may develop. And secondly, when you hear them, you don't think, oh gosh, they're going to be busy in that committee. I'm glad I'm not there. These are objectives for the club. And when we come to the community, I'll talk about this when Darren does the community presentation. Wyn, over to you, please, to talk about Club Service Committee, Rotary Club of Plympton 2021.
Thanks, Peter. Just check I'm not muted. There we are. Great to see you all. As Peter said, we're going to be looking at a different kind of club, a more diverse club in all sorts of ways in the coming year. And the Club Service Committee is really there to service the club in 4 different ways. If I can persuade the machine to do this, there we go. Rotary Active is one aspect, as I outlined in our programme, to activate our members. This is actually getting out and working together and perhaps keeping fit together. Yeah. Did someone going to say something? Sorry, I thought that was you, Darren. Adventure. We want to venture out into our communities and find out more about them. We want to break out of our usual stereotype, in a way, to host our meetings and to break into new networks. So that's one of the ideas of the business breakfasts, or the quick sort of drop-in breakfasts that we're talking about. And lastly, the service committee is going to be about communicating what's going on in the club to each other, to bring our diversity together, because we're going to have people doing lots of different sorts of things on different days, doing different activities, different kinds of people. So so those are our 4 objectives for club service. Thank you. Who's next? Peter.
You'd have to unmute Peter, because I actually put everyone on mute when Wyn was talking, Vin.
Sorry, I've said so many wise things in those 3 seconds. What I want, at the moment, it's a double-deck community. And Darren, could you talk about youth service and community service? And I'll keep an eye to see whether or not I've been muted before the next one. Thank you.
No problem. Basically, youth and community, I could go into a fair bit of detail, but to keep things very brief, under the youth banner, we will try and run the traditional youth competitions that we have done in the past, COVID allowing. But what we will do is we won't ignore any opportunities that may arise for any new type ventures that may pop up throughout the year. We're also aiming to charter a Rotary Kids Club at Plympton St Maurice Primary School. That'll be in the new school year. We've already laid the groundworks for that last year. Sadly, COVID stops us from actually chartering it, but I know Sarah Jane's quite keen to get that up and running, and we'll link into the End Polio campaign to help with that. And those of us who met a week or so ago, we feel the club should also commit to honouring the commitment to Molly Disney to take part in RIDA next year. Sadly, it was cancelled again this year, but back in Graham's year and at the beginning of my year, we did commit to part funding Molly on RIDA, along with Yelverton Rotary. So we feel that we should honour that. Molly is keen to take part in RIDA next year, so hopefully it'll go ahead and we will honour that commitment. Under the community side of things, obviously the main aspect for that really for us is for Christmas collections. So this year, again, COVID permitting, we'll go back to 10 nights. We only did 8 last year, and we'll also look back to doing a static collection, which we didn't do last year. We are looking at maybe 1 or 2 new organisations helping us, but we're not going to go too far into getting too many other new groups in, because we've got quite a few groups who do help us already. Peter already mentioned the environment. Some of you will recall that last year, or roughly this time last year, we signed up to the Plastic Free Plymouth initiative, making a pledge of cutting out on our plastic waste. They've just launched phase 2 of that initiative, and to tie in with Rotary's avenue of service for the environment, we will look to commit to phase 2 of that, and we will also look to link up for a third year with the Marine Conservation Society with further beach cleans in sort of September, October time. We're also, again, something which I know Peter's grown to support this year, and that's the mental health support. So again, as you all know, I've been running the Rotarians for Mental Health awareness campaign. So we'll look to carry on, at the very least, maintaining awareness and trying to help break down the stigma of mental health. And again, if opportunities like the sponsored walks that some of our members did this year for Devon Mind, if opportunities like that arise to support mental health charities, then we will look to support them. And also the Plympton Community Network, we feel that the President and Senior Vice President should continue attending these meetings. The Senior Vice President to ensure there's continuity. This year, myself and Peter have been attending them. Obviously, next year, Peter steps up to the President's role. But that seems to be a very good way of linking up with community groups within Plympton. So that's me done and dusted.
Okay, the International Committee that met right after a meeting 4 weeks ago, we have 3 objectives. The first is to complete the Macwanpo Global Grant Project. This is a project which we already have £10,000 of funding in, and we want to provide health services first aid training, first responder training for people in a remote part of Macwanpo. Macwanpo is the place in Nepal where this helpline is. So we're keeping our connection with the Rotary Club of Itauda in Macwanpo, and we want to complete our global grant project. And that may involve actually going to Nepal next Easter. The second one is that we want to reach out to the Rotary Club of Plymouth in Massachusetts. We've had some connection with them in the past year because of joint meetings, and they are very interested in some of the work that we do. But given that our club is, quite a few members of our club are new to Rotary, there's an awful lot of learning that can be done visiting other clubs. And what I'm suggesting is that some of those visits, if the Rotary Club of Plymouth, Massachusetts meets online, some of those might be meetings that we'd want to go to. 5 hours time difference, and they meet at the Monday lunchtime. So early Monday evening, go to Massachusetts and see what a Rotary Club with over 50 members is doing. And the last thing, good to see you here, Bharat, is that Mike Inman and I and the committee would like to reach out to the Nepali community here in Plymouth, and also the South Asian society, and celebrate some of the diversity that is here within Plymouth. So those are our 3 objectives. What I'm going to do now, if I can share the screen, is I think I've managed to put them all into a PowerPoint as to remind you, because this is the point at which you're going to need to look down this list and see which of these priorities do you think you'd be involved with sometime in the next year. Which ones, you're allowed more than one, of course, appeal to you. Here we are, club service. Youth. Community. Oh, sorry, that one about Christmas collections, that's not an option. That's all of you have got that, luckily, as a priority already. I joined the club in November, and they let me know the second meeting I went to. You joined last week. Have you heard about the Christmas tree round? Because you've got to do 3 nights on a tractor. It's different since, but it's one of the best things we do. I'll shut up and let you read the rest of it. and international. Right, 2 slides to summarize it. You might need a pencil next to you just to remind yourself what you're signing up for. Here's half of them. And the other half. And what I'd like you to do when we go into our breakouts, it's a random group. There'll be 5 people with you, and I want you to do 2 things. Choose an objective that you want to be involved with. Okay, Christmas is guaranteed, and then pick another one. But I want you to talk about what you're proud of in Rotary, either Rotary world over, Rotary your own club. Because we've got something like 10 or 12 new members. I'm trying to stop share. Oh, there we go. When there's a prospective new member, I've got an email that I send them, and I say, I think you need to understand a few things. First of all, it isn't Rotary we want you to join. It's called Rotary International. And I've been to clubs all around. I've been to clubs in Nicaragua, in Amsterdam, in Nepal, of course, in Ethiopia, Uganda, and Ghana. And it is amazing, this huge network. But I'm also proud of what we're doing. It isn't enough that we're a big network. It's very important that we are helping with the Gates Foundation. We're helping to wipe out a disease, to wipe out polio. That here in Britain we've got a distinctive charity that Rotary International has identified as its disaster relief charity, set up in Cornwall in our district, Shelterbox. And I like not just what we do internationally, I like what we do locally. I like that list that Darren came up with and Wynne came up with. I like the diversity. And what I'd like you all to do in the 15 minutes of your breakout is talk about those priorities, those objectives, come back to us with any comments you have to make about them, come back to us with ones that you're interested in. There are several people on these screens who did the beach clean, for example, but also give me something that you're proud of in Rotary, either Plympton Rotary or Rotary International, and you've only got 17 words. I don't want a speech about what you're proud of. I want it to be punchy. If you can make it fewer than 17 words, that's good, but I'm into 17 for some reason or other. I'm done. We're going to go to breakout, come back in 15 minutes, and there are there's 20 people here. I might just go around every screen and ask you to answer a question, either on your priority, on your objective, or on what you're proud of, or both. Are you okay with that for homework? I'll pause for a moment, give you a chance to think, and give you a chance to respond, and then Darren's going to press a button and you disappear. Just pause for a minute, Darren, and let's see any hands coming up with people who don't know what they're going to be doing.
Just to let some of you know, you won't all receive an invitation to the breakout rooms because some of you will stay in the main meeting room here with me.
Okay.
Oh, Robert, we just cut off. Robert was just saying something very wise, and then suddenly the guillotine came down.
Oh, what's happened, Robert? What do you think?
Oh, don't let that stop you, Robert. Carry on.
Anyway, let me go around and see if people have got anything to say, either about the objectives or about what they're proud of in Rotary. You can choose either, but please can you be punchy? And I'm just going to go along my screen. And Corin, I'm going to come to you next, but you need to unmute what you're proud of or what objective you like the sound of. Give us your answer.
Well, I did explain, obviously I'm quite new, so it's a bit hard for me to say what I'm proud of, but I did add that I got involved with Rotary because of Rotarians for Mental Health. And clearly as a mental health first aid instructor, that's what I'd really like to get involved with.
Brilliant. That's lovely. Kevin?
Well, we had a robust chat about things, but I think I'll help out with anything, whatever's going along, so long as I can. That's the main thing. I'll join in with anything. So, but we talked potentially about combining some of this plastic environment and involving kids and the Rotary kids, or I did, mixing it together as some sort of schools competition using recycled material or something.
Very good. Lovely idea. Yeah. George?
I will mostly offer many years of experience and wise advice.
Thank you. Chip, you're the next screen. Chip, give us
we've discussed about the Rotary International. Very proud of the way we acted when obviously we find out and we heard about the disaster regarding coronavirus in Nepal.
Yeah.
We acted quicker than UK government, which is, I mean, it's not difficult, but hey, we've done something about it. We found out the fact that the Nepalese community managed to get together, especially the doctors working in UK, the Nepalese doctors working in UK, to get together, put some money to help the residents and doctor residents in Nepal with their treatment.
Chip, I'm going to cut this short. Sorry, Chip, I'm going to cut this short because I want to go to the others. Terry, you want to say something punchy?
Yes, my aim in Rotary has always been service before self.
Brilliant. Yeah, thank you. David Farnham.
Well, I'm going to say I think I'm proud of what the club has done or do with the youth, with the young people. And I think what they do with the youth projects helps in their development, and these are our future.
Right. And Sarah?
Yes, well, what I've most enjoyed has been the way we've acted together and acted quite fast sometimes with the links we have internationally. I think that's been amazing. I also think it's special that we have local connections internationally with Nepal, and we want to keep that, and our environmental activities such as beach clean and so on. And yes, I'd be firmly in favour of anything to do with working with younger people and helping to develop that community. I think that would all be splendid stuff.
Very good, thank you. Michelle? Oh, you're unmuted. Go ahead.
I unmuted myself. So I've done half the homework, Peter, because when we have 47 seconds left, someone mentioned it needs to be 17 words. So not quite narrowed it down to 17 words, but the objectives that I talked about of being of interest, mental health awareness was of interest, and also obviously the Christmas collections, the local community and getting involved in that kind of thing. Where I work in Plympton, that's really something that I would like to be involved in as well. In terms of things that I'm proud of, I have to agree with Chip in terms of what we did with the Nepal, the quickness and the speed that happened, and the success of it has been amazing. And I think that that is something we should all really be proud of. And from a Plympton Rotary perspective, I think it's amazing how we've managed to keep the club together, keep the Zooms going in a time when it's just been a bit of an unprecedented time. We've grown the club during that period of time, and the innovative ideas that we're having to grow our club and just make it different. It's just a real opportunity, and it's really exciting times, I think. So that's something that I'm quite proud of too. There we go. Not 17 words, but I hope it was quick and
good. It's good. It's lovely. Graham, anything to add?
No, I was only commenting on what I'm proud of, because I say East Devon and Plympton don't mix very well, but what I'm proud of is the Christmas collections that we've done for years and years and years, and how we've supported local charities through that. And also Rotary International's End Polio Now campaign. We're nearly there, but we're not quite finished yet. But at least at the moment, we're down to one case in Pakistan and one in Afghanistan.
That's amazing.
The thousands that we had just 25 years ago.
A lovely mix. Community and international. Roger, give me something.
Obviously, you've got an interesting programme and looking forward to coming back to the club and supporting the community and youth events. So,
very good. Darren?
Very succinctly, we make a difference. The examples I used, well, we've already seen already from what Chip and Michelle said, we've made a difference in Nepal, but things like the mental health awareness campaign, we've got people around the world talking about it now, which they hadn't been doing before, but also close to home, things like the defibrillator project that George instigated, which makes a real difference to our local community. So we make a difference at home and abroad.
Win?
Yeah, I agree with Darren. Actually, we have been making a difference with actually a relatively small club. So as we grow now and take on new things, it's going to be, well, as Michelle said, it's a very exciting time. We're going to have the next few years, we're going to get bigger and better, I think. And my proudest thing has always been international, but I love the community events and we do so much for young people as well. So yeah, I love all of it.
I've gone around all the members. I haven't turned to Anne or Barrett or Robert or Maria or Kelly, but any one of you like to join in, you can. And then my bit of the meeting is finished.
I'd just like to say, Peter, that you know, the work, the instant getting money for ABAN was brilliant. We were, you know, you were so fast off the mark there, and I think it's great that that's happened.
Yeah, I agree. I'm so pleased, and I'm going to get in touch with everybody connected with it and say, I'll send you the link so that you can hear Vinika actually speaking, because she's really, you just think that's just the sort of person that we had in mind if we'd been asked to say it. Anyway, it's coming up to an hour. Thank you all for being with us. Barrett, good to see you. Maria, lovely to have you with us. And I reassured Maria that there will be meetings for her to come to next year. And Kelly, we want to see you there with us. 2 of our 4 meetings in the month will be online, and we want all you nice people to come along. Michael Gillette, I'll be in touch after the meeting. Do you want to say anything at this stage?
Thanks, Peter. I thought it was informative, it was encouraging with ideas, and I think you have to think of a very new structure, and you're working towards it in what you're proposing.
Very good. Thanks, Darren. Back to you.
Right, thank you, Peter. I did have on the agenda, we're going to have a very short open forum to talk about the club assembly, but I think, to be honest, we've really covered all that. So I'm just going to ask very quickly, has anyone got anything else they would like to add, be they club member or any of our visitors, regarding the club assembly? George?
Have we decided definitely that our meetings are going to be once a month at the Barrington Golf Club? Is that confirmed, or is that just our wish?
We haven't spoken to the golf club, but that is our clear intention, and
the managers ring me back this morning, so our intention is to make it the first Thursday of every month an actual in-person meeting at the golf club. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, that's the answer. I was, what I was wondering. That's a definite now then, Win.
Yeah. Well, I've just got to get a confirmation from John. He's ringing me back in the morning.
Oh, I get you. Yeah.
And George, one of the things that I was going to suggest on the environment was that people gave lifts to each other so that we use less fuel going there. So I'll give you some addresses of people who live west of Manamead, and they can pick you up.
Do you want a lift, George? You're looking great.
I'll get there somehow.
No, I think what George was saying was quite a valid point there, actually, because if we are going to, I don't think we actually touched upon this evening what nights we're actually going to be moving to exactly, or what we're doing. But if we are going to be changing too many nights, we may need to have a business meeting to actually change the club bylaws. But if we just have clarification at some point of what nights we're planning to propose meeting each month, just so we know, because traditionally Thursdays have been Plympton Rotary nights. If we're going to be changing too many of them, as I say, we need to change the bylaws. If it's just going to be, let's say, once a month say like the adventure days or anything like that. That's so much we can talk about over the next week or two for that. I noticed Corinne's got a hand up. Corinne, do you want to say something quickly there?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I know Nick Taylor, who is one of the people who runs and manages Borringdon. And he was talking about it the other day, and he's very keen to see Rotary back, and will do what he can to help that to happen. And he's also said that if I tell him I'm attending an event, he will finally come and join you for a meal, because apparently you've been asking for a while.
Yeah.
So he's going to actually come. He's made me a promise.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. We are going to be meeting twice on. The plan is to we meet twice a month at Borringdon at least, and of course there are fifth Thursdays as well sometimes. So we might be visiting more than that, and we'll be using it for socials. So, but the second Thursdays will be online. And one thing that we can still consider is whether we keep international online meetings on the Thursday night, or go to the Monday as we've suggested, which would be the same time. It'd be interesting to hear from our international people which day they prefer. Would they prefer Mondays or Thursday evenings?
To me, it's either, because my club meetings are Wednesday mornings anyway. So to me, either day works.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Kelly?
I can generally be flexible, but to be honest, I'd arranged my schedule around having this time off on the Thursdays for you
prefer
guys.
Thursdays. Oh, that's really nice. That's good.
Really exciting.
We could keep our internationals on Thursdays, but it means our online club night will have to move to Monday.
Don't do anything specific just for me, okay?
I think
you're worth it. You're worth it.
We need to sort this outside the meeting. Yeah. Thank you very much, Darren, for your input, and Kelly, and Wynne, and Mary. Thank you.